The entire WTA is watching in shock when a billion-dollar brand war exploded around Alex Eala. Nobody anticipated that the match between three of the biggest names in tennis equipment would become a public struggle that would rock the entire sport. She is only 20 years old. She became the focal point of the most contentious sponsorship battle in women's tennis history, however, as a result of what transpired behind closed doors, the leaked emails, the abrupt contract terminations, and the social media upheaval. One decision, three giants, and a fallout that nobody saw coming. It was not intended for Alex Eala to be present. Not with this much strength, not this quickly. She was a teenage aspirant from the Philippines just 3 years ago, slogging through ITF competitions in tiny European cities and hardly receiving any international attention for her music. However, something changed between her 2022 US Open Junior triumph and her meteoric ascent through the WTA rankings in 2024 and 2025. Agents circled, scouts took notice, and the major tennis brands began to take notice. Eala broke into the top 50 by the beginning of 2026. She was no longer merely a potential customer. With a bold baseline game, a huge following throughout Southeast Asia, and a tale that marketers would love to tell, she was a superstar and a Grand Slam junior winner. The underdog who wouldn't give up. Her ascent coincided with the ideal moment. In Asia, women's tennis was in dire need of new players. Naomi Osaka has taken a step back. Song Chien-Won was already bound by large sponsorship deals with China. Eala was the key to success. Young, hungry, personable, and speaking for more than 110 million Filipinos who had never had a native tennis star. Since she was 16, Nike has been a part of her life. Just enough to keep her in running shoes and swooshes. Nothing fancy. Most players her age would kill for Babolat's rackets. A typical piece of equipment. It was stable. It was secure. But stability doesn't sell billion-dollar dreams. In the background, rumors began to spread. Wilson desired to join. Furthermore, they had no interest in a low-key alliance. Their goal was to make a statement. They wanted Alex Eala to represent their next-generation racket line and serve as the focal point of a billion-dollar campaign aimed at the Asia-Pacific music market. It appeared to be routine business at first. Players gain, brands compete, and everyone wins. However, this was not going to be the norm. War was on the horizon. And whether she realized it or not, Alex Eala was poised to emerge as women's tennis' most important and contentious asset. What happens if a 20-year-old who didn't ask to play a billion-dollar game ends up winning? The beginning of the bidding battle meant that things would quickly turn ugly. It began quietly, strategically, and brutally in boardrooms. January 2026, the first bid went to Alex Eala's agent. One of the sport's most recognizable brands, Wilson Tennis, has a plan that would revolutionize the game. $8 million over a 4-year period. Complete equipment sponsorship and the sole right to use her image in marketing campaigns in Asia-Pacific. The real deal, a personal investment fund created in her name with the goal of constructing tennis mize in the Philippines. This wasn't just a sponsorship. This offer was a legacy. Wilson did, however, make one crucial demand: exclusivity. If Eala signed, she would have to drop Babolat immediately. No grace period. No two-way relationships. Wilson or nothing. Her agent was aware that this would be an issue. Babolat had been faithful. They'd supported her when she was ranked outside the top 200. They treated her like family, gave her personalized rackets, and flew her to their facilities in France for music. It wouldn't be business to go away. It would be considered treachery. Still, $8 million is $8 million. Word spread. It always does. Within 48 hours, Alice's team was on the phone with Babolat's executives. They had a clear message. You have our investment. We had faith in you. We will lose face in the Asian market in addition to losing a player if you leave us for Wilson. They made more than a sentimental appeal. They countered their offer. $6 million spread over 3 years, along with stock in Babolat's next Asian venture. They provided something Wilson couldn't, but they couldn't equal Wilson's money. Heritage, loyalty, and a guarantee that she'd be their flagship athlete in the region. Nike then joined the conversation. Until now, Nike had remained mute. They had thought they had a good relationship with Eala. However, they recognized they were going to lose one of the women's tennis world's fastest rising talents when they learned of Wilson's offer and Babolat's counter. Their reaction was hostile. Nike offered more than just cash. Global dominance, a lifelong royalties agreement on trademark clothing, co-branded footwear lines, and collaborations with their top athletes, LeBron James, Rafael Nadal, and Serena Williams, were all on the table. They portrayed Aya as a cultural icon rather than a tennis player. According to reports, the offer, which was the biggest endorsement agreement ever made to a Filipino athlete, was worth $12 million over 5 years. There was a catch though. Nike wanted her to stay with Babolat for rackets. They didn't care about the equipment war. They desired the rights to clothing, music, lifestyle, and cultural capital. If she signed with Wilson, Nike would walk. All of a sudden, Alex Eala was not picking brands. She had to decide between two possible futures. Nike, the multinational conglomerate. Wilson, the legacy creator. Babolat, music, the devoted companion. The worst aspect was that the leaks were occurring purposefully and slowly. There was a conversation. 3 billion giants, one unavoidable decision. Then came the leak that would make this private discussion a public scandal. February 4, 2026. A screenshot was shared on Twitter by a tennis insider account. It was a private email intended solely for internal inspection. As stated in the subject line, Eala sponsorship final offer breakdown. Wilson's $8 million offer was described in detail in the email, including the signing bonus, yearly retainer, performance incentives, image rights, academy support, and more. Within an hour, it had 50,000 retweets. Babolat's reply offer also leaked within 3 hours. Next, Nike. Every tennis blog, forum, and social media site immediately featured the bidding war on its front page, even though it was meant to remain private. Fans dissected every number. Experts argued over which brand was the best. Alex Eala remained silent. Silence, however, was no longer an option. The Filipino tennis community exploded with pride. "Our girl is worth millions," one viral tweet read. However, pride soon gave way to pressure. Supporters began urging her to choose the appropriate brand. Wilson, according to some, due of the academy investment. Others said Nike, as its global presence increased Filipino athletes' visibility. A smaller minority defended Babolat by claiming that they were the true supporters who remained by her side while everyone else had given up. Additionally, the brands were not remaining silent. A mysterious statement was posted on Wilson's official account. While some collaborations are made to last, others are made to make a difference. Despite its subtlety, everyone understood the subject of the song. Babolat retaliated by showcasing some of Eala's greatest moments. Each and every one of them with their rackets. It reads, "Champions stay loyal." Nothing was posted by Nike. They were not obliged to. They got it from their sportsmen. At a Nike event, Naomi Osaka retweeted a picture of herself and ally with the words, "Family first." It was oppressive pressure. Then the most damning document yet was leaked. Babolat executives exchanged internal texts about a backup plan in case Eala quit. Babolat had already started contacting other Filipino players as possible substitutes, according to the communications. Fans of Alice were incensed. Before she even makes a decision, they are already replacing her. One post read, "The story changed." Once viewed as the devoted underdog, Babolat now appeared opportunistic. The WTA said nothing. The other players said nothing. Now, this was more important than tennis. This has to do with control, money, and power. A 20-year-old girl who simply wanted to play the sport she loved was at the center of it all. A business transaction became a battleground due to the leaks. The saddest part was that the fight had only just begun. Nuance is beyond the capabilities of the internet. Additionally, nuance was the first to be lost when the Alex Eala sponsorship fight went public. Twitter turned into a battlefield. In the Philippines, Southeast Asia, and even the US tennis scene, hashtags like Team Wilson, Team Babolat, and Team Nike began to gain popularity. Polls were made by fan accounts. Timelines were overrun with memes. Disputes became personal. Wilson Saviors is a group that offered to build mice in the Philippines. According to one viral thread, this is more important than tennis. Giving back to the next generation is the goal here. Alex is abandoning Filipino children who aspire to play tennis if she doesn't pick Wilson. That story struck a chord, but it also backfired. Some supporters retaliated. According to one commenter, she doesn't owe anyone anything, she is 20 years old. Allow her to make her own decisions without pressuring her to return the favor out of guilt. Conversely, Nike supporters presented the choice as obvious. Wilson is unable to match Nike's global presence. If Alex wants to be a worldwide icon, there's only one choice, one tweet said. The loudest, however, were Babolat loyalists. They unearthed earlier interviews in which Aya gave Babolat credit for having faith in her at an early age. At junior competitions, they posted pictures of her with Babolat rackets. They presented the choice as a test of loyalty. When she was signed by Babolat, she was nothing. She's going to go now that she's famous. That's not the Alex we know. The turmoil was fueled by the brands. Video montage of young Filipino athletes practicing on temporary courts was shared by Wilson, who concluded it with the words, "Imagine what's possible." It was sentimental. It was deceptive. It was successful. Babolat responded with their own video, which featured engineers and designers discussing their belief in Aya's potential and provided a behind-the-scenes look at the building of her unique racket. It was an obvious message. You weren't merely sponsored by us. We made an investment in you. Nike remained out of the controversy, but they did so on purpose. They gave voice to their legacy. You don't have to beg when you're Nike. You just wait. However, the hatred wasn't limited to fans. Journalists covering tennis began to take sides. Wilson's offer was defended in op-eds by some as revolutionary for Filipino tennis. Others denounced the entire event, including the music, calling it a battle between vulture companies that treats a young athlete like a commodity. This is what's wrong with modern tennis, according to a former WTA player who went on record. We've turned sponsorships into gladiator matches. Alex Eala is not a reward, she is a person. And through all of this, the debates, the hashtags, the think pieces, Alex Eala still hadn't said a word until she did. When the whole world is screaming at you to pick a side, silence becomes impossible. And everyone would be amazed by Alex Eala's remarks when she eventually spoke. February 9, 2026, 11:47 p.m. Manila time. On Instagram, Alex Eala made a message. No PR team polish, no corporate jargon, just her words. I haven't said anything because I didn't know what to say, but I believe I owe it to everyone after all that has transpired this week. Myself, my family, and my fans. This isn't simple, to be honest. I'm 20 years old. I should be concentrating on my game, my ranking, and my upcoming event. Rather, I've been overwhelmed with emails, court filings, and pressure from all sides for the past 2 weeks. What's the right choice? Is a question that people frequently ask me. Here's the reality though. I'm not sure. Wilson's offer is incredible. It means the world to me to establish schools in the Philippines and to help children who don't have the same opportunities that I did. Do I have to give them my whole career though if I take that offer? Babolat has been by my side from the start. They believed in me when I was ranked 300 in the world. They have been like family to me, trusted me, and supported me. Does devotion, however, require me to pass up greater opportunities? I've always wanted a platform like the one Nike is giving me. The opportunity to become a worldwide athlete and not only a tennis player. But I'm selling out if I accept that deal? I don't know the answers. And I'm tired of people acting like I should. I didn't request that this be made public. Those emails weren't leaked by me. I didn't want this to become a show. But here we are. Here's what I know then. I'm a huge tennis fan. I adore my nation. I cherish those who have stood by me. And I will be the one to decide whatever I want. Not Wilson's, not Nike's, not Babolat's, not the internet, and not music. When I am ready, I will decide. I'm pleading with everyone to just give me some breathing room till then. The post instantly became viral. In the first hour, it received over 1 million likes. The comments came pouring in. Some are critical, some are encouraging, and some are still attempting to influence her choice. In addition to being her narrative, this serves as a warning. Athletes' music is not a product to the businesses. Pressure is not support to the fans. To the players, your career is yours to control. Alex Eala just demonstrated how the game has altered.